Not much. How you doing, Alan?
Dude, how am I doing? How are you doing on this episode 23 of the Water and Time
Episode
podcast?
23. Let's go.
I'm your host this week, Alan, joined by Will, of course. Who
How's
else?
it going?
Maybe we'll have guests in the future. Copium?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I've had a few people talk. They're willing to be guests. We just
Yeah.
haven't set it up.
Okay,
Well, it's
well.
like you and I are we just flow so well together. When you got a
we.
third person,
Yeah,
yeah,
so. See, what helps with flowing is topics. Because the more you flow with someone, the fewer topics you need to stay on track, right? But if you have topics, like they're the boats of the journey. So
the
as more people
anchors.
join you, yeah, the anchors, if you have more people that join you, well, you need more boats, right? Because if you don't know each other, how are you going to go flowing? So there it is. We just need
Yeah,
topics.
yeah. We got a couple good topics.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, maybe we can talk about that. I'm in Seattle next week. I'll be in person. We
Okay.
might have a guest. We'll see. We have some other friends that do podcasts. We might
Oh,
put a little
wow.
guest
Yeah,
in
we
here.
actually need some
We'll
setup.
see what happens.
'Cause I'm actually scared of our setup. Because even though we have two mics and two amps and stuff, it's
Yeah,
mainly like camera setup that I'm kind of worried about.
it's okay. We got a week. We got a week. Anyway, we don't want to give away too much, so maybe we'll let that happen when people tune in next week. They can learn.
That's right.
How's your week going, Alan?
How's my
How you
week going?
doing?
Why don't we start with you this time? Why don't we start with you
We can
this
start
time?
with me.
How's you
Okay,
doing? Give me
absolutely.
the Will weather report, bro.
Dude, cloudy, fucking wet, but not too humid. So New York's been nice. A little bit of rain, feels a little Seattle-y, but the sun has been poking out. It's actually probably very solid weather. Not too humid. It's hit 70 degrees, warm. I liked it.
There it
Good
is.
weather this week, I would say overall. Yeah. We're what, middle of May, so it'll get hot soon. And then I leave tomorrow
Holy.
for Seattle for a week. So that weather report will be very different, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that means I don't have to report on Seattle next week.
Yeah. I was wondering too. We could maybe take the light rail together, but
Oh
again,
my
I'm getting ahead of myself.
god.
We'll wait for next week, and the viewers will see what
Watch what
happens. Yeah,
happen is that you'll be the one that takes it, and I'm just like, yeah, I didn't take it at all.
that's 100% what's gonna
Yeah, exactly. Oh
happen.
god. Oh god, I'm afraid.
That's why I flew to Seattle. How's your week though going on? How was your weekend? You got the guns out right now. Give me an
Dude,
update.
it's been warm, man. Like, like in a good way, because I don't like the heat, because I sweat a lot and I get nasty. Eh. But it's been nice just getting in some vitamin D. I got sunburn, like right here. Oh my gosh, you can actually
Yeah,
see
we
it.
discussed it last time. It's still there.
It's still there.
Wow.
I need aloe vera. But yeah, the weather's been good. For me, I've been making some videos. I got 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I'm like 1 out of 2 steps away from being monetized because I just need
That's
to put
awesome.
out more videos because you need to reach X amount of hours watched in the past like I think like 6 months or something. So I just need to like post a few more.
That's
And
an
then
amazing milestone though, dude.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I could start making some pennies off my videos.
Yeah, dude.
So that's been
Hey, that's the
chill.
first step.
That is the first step. But yeah, that's been chill. Maybe that'll motivate me more. The something I was thinking, I was looking into like a bunch of financial stuff, like the whole, the fire system, like the whole like
Yeah.
financially independent, retire early. I was mainly curious. Maybe we could just start diving into some topics, man,
Let's do it. Let's do it,
because
dude.
this might be a financially focused episode. But
Let's get it, dog. Let's get it.
so what I was surprised with the financial independence retire early mindset is that I always thought that if you have excess money, it's better to invest it into something so that it beats inflation at the very least, instead of just sitting at your bank account. If you don't need the money, of course. And so the thing to do with there is okay, you could probably just put it in some index funds and then just let it rip. Don't think about it. Come back in 10, 20 years and then it'll probably be up, I don't know, like 80, 100% or something.
Yeah, on
So,
average, I think the market's gonna give you 7 or 8%, right?
yeah, per year.
Adjusted for inflation, 3 or 4 or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, so when I heard about FIRE, I was like, okay, well, what's FIRE? And the point of FIRE is that they want to retire early, as the acronym suggests. And so I guess the difference is I was like, okay, well, how are you going to retire early? And their main way of doing this is, well, I just invest the money because I gotta grow and make the money. And I'm thinking, wait, isn't that what, people, that's the general advice, isn't it? Like, why do we have a
It's
specific fire term? And I guess the main difference that I saw is that it's by a certain age. Like, people that do this mindset have a certain age in mind that they want to just retire. And so, yeah, that's like mainly the whole difference. So, which just surprised me that that there's this whole community out there for that. But I guess it makes sense because if someone wants to retire by like 35, 40, 50, then it's like, okay, well, you probably need to like expand out into more specific financial advantages and strategies than just let the market do its thing. So,
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. I think what you said is spot on, is the general investment advice. When you go, if you go talk to a financial advisor, the general thing is you go invest your money that you don't need, right? And the goal is, when you're older, you can retire and you have that nice nest egg. Uh, my understanding is that the fire people, they're all about just maximizing how much money you're investing every month or whatever, and then trying to do the retirement earlier, like 40 or 45. And I think when that's what you're looking for, you try and really minimize your lifestyle and really grow that egg as fast as possible with whatever your investments are. And I think there's also this idea of where you want to live and what your expenses are. And when you're doing a fire, let's say you retire at 40, that's a lot more of your life where you're not making money,
yeah.
right? As opposed to 65. I think that's part of it. And then I would also really look at how society has changed a little bit. My hunch is you have a lot of fire people, they usually have minimal dependencies in terms of kids, in terms of mortgages, all of that. They're in a high income bracket at a young age, right? We're talking about 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds making 200 plus $1,000 a year. That's very rare. Top 1%. I really think those are the only people who even can fire. And so
Right.
I'd say like the general advice for investing is for everybody. Fire, I think, is very specific. I think tech workers, especially if you're in Seattle or finance, some in New York, they might talk about that a little bit more. Of usually it's very high income people talking about retiring at 40, and it's all about minimizing your expenses, making a really high salary, and just trying to optimize that for that early retirement age. So I think it's very specialized advice. Um, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, and then the two things I take away from that is, for one thing, it's mainly an option available to those who have the ability to
Of
make that
course,
option.
of
So,
course,
yeah, like
yeah,
if you're working like a minimum wage job, then fire is probably off the table for you, unless
absolutely.
But the other thing is that this whole age thing of like choosing a specific point and trying to hit that goal, I think that's still like, I guess, the main bottleneck, because you can only like maximize so much. Like, if you don't have enough to make those gains to retire by the time you're 40 or 50, then yeah, I guess you do have to look
Yeah,
into minimizing your lifestyle. So that could mean like going out to eat less. That could mean canceling all your subscriptions and just being without entertainment for the most part.
having no furniture, dude. It's the classic tech bro with a mattress on the floor.
That's the
That's what I
classic
think
bro
about.
move.
Those, in a small ass apartment. Like that's the
Yeah.
stereotype I have of fire.
Yeah, which is like really just minimizing your lifestyle in order to maximize it at whatever age.
Or yeah, I would say minimizing your lifestyle so you can hit retirement earlier to
Yeah.
bring down the age. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I find that interesting. I think you kind of told me this last week with like one of your friends in a similar situation, but then ends up wanting more. And I think I just like see that most people probably do want more. Like, you could say that you want to retire at 40, but probably when you hit 40 and you retire, maybe when you're 45, you might go, oh, wait, maybe I want more, just because of whatever reasons, whether that's you're bored or you don't have a hobby or you just want to make more money just because. Then I think that'll probably be what happens. I feel like that is what happens, but I'd have to look that up.
I think you hit on a few points there. I think one big thing, right, is you might want more. Like there might be more things that come in, or you have a different idea of what your life will be like in the future. For example, where you're gonna live, maybe having an extra kid, maybe wanting a specific like home somewhere. Those things can change that price. I think what you said as well, another point, is boredom. I don't think people really realize like if you were to retire at the age of 40, that's so young. Like you can go travel into that, that's awesome, but that's so much time of not working where, especially like in an American culture, I think there is this huge identity with work about who you are, is what you do for a living, and I think that's a problem that when I talk, I feel like people don't really think about that as much. It's like, yeah, it'd be great not to work. It's awesome. Or you can go find maybe work that you're more passionate about that might pay less. But I think those are really important things to think about in this whole fire system. And
Do you
I have
think
pretty strong feelings on it. Yeah.
yeah, do you think that this whole identity is tied specifically also to making money, or is it more so just having some kind of thing that you're responsible for? So
Oh, I
cuz
think
you're kind of like
yeah.
implying that like if you're bored, it's because you don't have a job, quote unquote. And I'm curious like if you're not making money from something, could it just be considered a hobby? But
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
yeah, so do you think money like not making money makes you bored? Like makes someone
Yeah,
bored?
that's a good question. I think everybody's different. I also think it's a cultural thing, right? Like in the U.S., it's all about making money. That's how we value how good a person is sometimes, or how smart they are, is the amount of money they make. I think it's a very U.S. based thing. Um, I think 100% somebody can be very fulfilled and happy making no income, but you need to have money to survive, right? And that's where the whole fire system comes in. Maybe somebody they have a high salary at age 40, they retire, and they go volunteer, right? Or they go have a hobby, or they go do something else, and they're perfectly happy. I think I was talking about myself more. I think for myself, I think I'd have a hard time not working in general. But I do think there are some things in my life where like it is a hobby or I can make money from them, but it just pays less than maybe other jobs I could do that pay more. And maybe for me, that's what I would transition to if I were to fire, which I don't plan to. But if I were, I'd probably do a job I'm more passionate about, but just at a lower income level.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I would probably if I was doing something like a job, then I would want to get paid. No, like just by principle alone.
Yeah,
Like
you're putting in work, you deserve something back.
yeah, it doesn't matter if it's like $5 an hour or something. I just would want something out of it. Because otherwise, why would I do it?
And insurance. Insurance is really important in the
Oh yeah,
US
man.
because it's not free. So I think that's also a big part is if I were to retire early or somebody, you don't want health problems to affect that nest egg that you've built. So you probably want a job or you want some system where you can get insurance benefits. That's probably a big deal when people talk about fire that I'm sure a lot kind of forget about is
Yeah.
healthcare.
Yeah, so I guess in summary, there are like sort of like two things happening here. It's like a lot of people work until retirement at age 65 generally, and then they live their life because they were grinding on the hustle to get to that retirement point so that they could do more stuff at retirement. There are people like in the fire category who say, well, I'd like to do that, but I want to do it earlier. So I want to like grind as much, like way more and get more money and then retire earlier. And then there's like this third avenue where it's, well, maybe like somewhat like what you're doing well, which is like living more of your life now. And then, by the time retirement comes, you've already like done a lot of the things that people would want to do after retirement, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a whole spectrum, right? I think people like, oh, you have a kid, you weren't planning to, you got to get back to work to to afford that, even if you retired early. Things like that can they can change depending on the people you meet. Your values can change too over time. For me specifically, I think a big part of it was I regretted like in college. I remember I didn't take like a gap year in between high school and university. I met like some of my family is German, and they all do that.
That's what
I've met like a
Europeans
lot
do,
of
yeah.
yeah Europeans. I met like a lot of Aussies on the road too, and a lot of like Australians will go to other Commonwealth countries and just take a year off. It's very ingrained in the culture to go explore and have fun and to reward themselves after finishing high school, right?
Which is a
And we really
big
don't.
achievement, big achievement.
Of course, and it's just like it's really just live your life and go explore the world and learn about cultures and so on and enjoy yourself. And I just don't think the U.S. has that. And I'd also relate that too to the way, as a culture, we vacation and stuff, right? In the U.S., there are no Like a company does not have to give vacation days. It's totally fine. In the EU, that's totally illegal. My family, like my cousins over there, the base they get is like a month off, right? One favorite story I have is I got sick one time during my vacation when I took sick day or I took vacation days, right? PTO from work. I got sick. My cousins, the exact same thing happened. They took PTO days. They also got sick. They called their company, right, with a medical like document from their doctor. It's like, oh, they got sick during vacation. They got their vacation days back, right? And it's a law.
Not
By law, the company has to give them their vacation back. I tried that with my American company, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
bad.
Like, you already took the PTO off in your schedule. You don't get those days back even if you're sick. What the fuck?" And I was like, I was surprised because I feel like also where I worked beforehand, they're probably one of the companies that's known for having like a better work-life balance and treating employees better. And so that was very eye-opening to me. And I think you kind of see that shift in everything in terms of vacation. And so all the way back to that point is the reason I did quit my job and take some time off is I had done a lot of work. I wanted to like enjoy the world while I'm young and I can move, and I did a lot of travel and it was awesome. And I think it's important. And my whole like philosophy is to retire early and often. Do a few retirements, take a year or two off, go travel, enjoy life. Right? You can always, dude. The work grind is always there for you, always there. So that's my spiel.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Retire
listening.
early,
We're on a little
retire
rant here.
often.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
One of our we used to be TAs together, and it was one of the TAs we worked with, Alan, that had said that, and I really took that to heart. I thought it was a great quote.
That's a good quote.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. But
but so that's yeah.
I mean, it's just so ingrained in me, this whole like American, maybe like even Chinese working culture about
Well, yeah,
working
because
yourself till
your culture is
to
even
death.
different, right?
So
Especially as an immigrant, dude. Like you're first gen immigrant. Like you have the Chinese culture, you have the American culture. Like you have a lot going on, dude.
Yeah, like everything you say makes sense in here, man. It makes everything
Yeah.
make sense. Everything
Yeah.
makes sense. No disagreements. But that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and it's
Just
also like an
makes-
emotional thing, right? It's like how people view you, especially in your culture. And for me, I was lucky my mom pushed that a lot. Like my mom was very much about, oh, go travel around, and then I quit my job. She was very supportive. My dad was supportive too, but he was definitely more like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
You're gonna
like
quit?
these things
You're
are
not
so
gonna make money?
ingrained
Like
in
what?
people's heads that
Yeah, they just don't think
it's
that
just
way. And again,
yeah, it's just different thinking. Very difficult
yeah.
to change,
And
especially
he's
after
also somebody. Yeah, well, as you go older, right? Especially after that.
exactly.
But he's somebody, in my opinion, when I said some people feel like they never have enough money, for example, he's one of them. Like my dad, he's retired, but even though I think they have enough money to live fine, they can easily reach 100 if they had to and support themselves with the money they have saved up. But to him, it's never enough. It's like this whole like anxiety. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I think it's also cultural of the U.S. Like people constantly telling him, "You need more," and there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah, so yeah, what do you, yeah, because I've been rambling here about my thoughts, and this is something I've thought about a lot after quitting. I've had the time. But what do you think about it, Alan? Give me your 2 cents or your thoughts behind it.
I think at the end of the day, as long as people make whatever choice that they want, it's whatever they want to do, like fine.
Of course.
But it is so hard because money is so important. And as much as I would love to preach about living your life, just retire, just go whatever, it's like practically, like, genuinely, I don't think that that's a choice that most people can make.
100% agree.
And dude, I mean, I would think that if I had $15 million, $20 million, that every like problem that I could solve with money would go away. Like, but then I think about things like, oh wow, but now that I've gotten that much money, there are new opportunities that could open up that I would have never thought of. And that's probably the case with more and more, that money that you make. And so it's just like a never ending cycle of like, oh yeah, I have enough, but I don't have enough because something new comes up. So I think for me, I just gonna work a bit, do my hobbies, and just try to live happily. So
Yeah. I mean, and do you feel like having to have a job impacts that? I think that's what it comes down to, right? Does your job get in the way of happiness?
oh, for sure, because it's like a set time. that it's a consistent thing that you're doing with your life, but sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do the thing. Like most of the time, most of the year, I'm fine working Monday to Friday. But sometimes I'll be like, dude, I don't want to work for like 2 weeks or a month or something. Right. So it's always a tug of war with having to balance that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that said, something else I was looking into in terms of like financials are like the idea of kids and like specifically about having kids while you're not financially stable and if that's okay, and like things about is it shameful to do that, like having kids if you're not ready and if you're aware that you're not ready, like is that okay
Mm-hmm.
to do you think that's okay to do, man? Like,
Like my personal belief, right? Um, I like I really believe that you should be able to support a child financially, um, in what like not just financially, but even with time, right? To be around for them, not spend all your time working. I feel like it would just make a child's life a lot better. So no, I think yeah, of course, I think you should 100% be financially stable and be able to really make a child one of your most important things in your life and your highest priority if you are to have kids. That's my thought.
okay, what if someone says that they're going to, but then it's clear that they can't financially support, like be financially
Yeah,
secure?
it's just not fair to the child, right? Like I feel like the child's not choosing. They don't get a choice.
No
So
child
yeah, I feel
wants to be
like
born poor.
exactly. So I feel like it's just like yeah, you do you, but that sucks. And yeah, I feel like I'm judgmental about that, of course. But
Hmm.
I don't really think that's what happens in a lot of the cases. Like in my opinion, like the stuff I've seen, it's usually like an accident or somebody gets pregnant, and it's just maybe culturally or religiously, like abortion or that type of stuff is just not an option for them, and they're just kind of stuck with it. And again, it's like when you're 16, you're 18, you're 20, like we're fucking stupid. You don't wear protection or something like that, or you forget about it, or there's alcohol and you're under the influence. Like there's so many things that can happen. It's not hard, dude. People fuck up. You're young. I think it's
Hmm.
more just like when you get stuck in a situation, some people just don't have as many options as we think they do in terms of not being a parent. And
Yeah.
that's like the sad part. And it's just sad, I think, in
Yeah,
my
that is very
thoughts.
sad. I'm more interested in like the idea of someone being aware that they shouldn't, whatever shouldn't means. Like it's not a good idea to, but then they do because of whatever selfish reason, right? And like I think for me, like, having kids is selfish. Like no matter what, it's just the selfish thing to do. I think that's fine. Like whatever. Uh,
What do you mean it's selfish? Yeah.
because it's like something that you want to do, and it's sort of like at the expense of like the world at whole. Because then there needs to be support systems for that child. Uh, you know, yeah, like having kids is selfish. It's
Well,
biologically
I
very
don't
incentived,
understand.
but
Yeah. What do you mean like there has to be support systems?
well,
Like as a
it's
society, like you're pulling away resources? What do you mean?
yeah, like why have kids in the first place? Like what reason to have kids other than oh, I just want kids?
I don't know. I like the thoughts of I think they can make a positive impact and help other people in the world. Like that's fundamentally what I believe in. Like and you and I can do that. We can go help other people and we have like we've taught and stuff and help people with that. But I think having kids too, like you can have a child that will hopefully make a positive impact in the world and help others. And it's kind of how you can help the world even more is by trying to teach them the right things and you know
Hmm.
have them help other people because you and I like we're not going to be around forever and then yeah,
Hmm.
that's my thoughts at least. So I don't think it's selfish. That's why I'm trying to understand this a little bit more because we might have different
Hmm.
thoughts and it's okay. But what do you think? Yeah, what else makes it more selfish? I guess.
I've always, maybe not always, but just think that like selfishness to me is doing things for yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
you kind of bring up an interesting point about how like oh if we have kids and we raise them well and how they can help the world and they can like make things a better place, contribute to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I would argue both of us have. Even paying your taxes, dude.
Yeah, yeah, but it is like interesting because like so from an environmental point of view, okay, you could say that like having kids is not good for the earth, right? Just in terms of like just using resources and stuff.
I think sure, like a high level, but I'd also flip that. And again, like I'm getting really nitty gritty here, right? But like I'm part of a nonprofit. I'm sure you know about that, right? Like we planted trees out there, try to reduce our carbon impact. I think there are people as like individuals who can have a net positive, but I think as a whole, you're 100% right. Humans in general are bad for the planet.
Yeah, so from that point of view, then yeah, that's sort of like I guess where I'm currently thinking with that.
Hmm.
But it is an interesting point about like I don't know, it feels weird to me where like I get the idea of having kids to make the world a better place, but that sounds weird to me
Why?
because you're bringing in a child to make them do something.
Yeah, that's not fair to put these high expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's yeah, because for me, like I want kids, and because
Hmm.
I would like to raise a kid and be a know what it's like to be a good parent.
Hmm.
Because that I think that'll be satisfying for me. It'll make me happy.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Like whatever the kid does, I hope that they're like a good person and that they do cool things for the world.
Hmm.
But I'm just fine if they just like live happily. Like
Mm.
that's my thing. And like I wouldn't want to like have a kid and be like, oh okay, this kid will carry on a legacy or they're gonna go on to cure things and
Hmm.
whatever. I don't I just don't want that expectation there.
That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't
So,
thought about that too much.
so
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I
that's
think
where
I'd be a little disappointed. You have
yeah.
a kid and all they like if you had a kid, for example, they become like a hedge fund manager and like I don't know,
Yeah.
like they just don't help society in any way. I would be
Yeah.
disappointed,
Yeah, if they're
genuinely.
mean and they're just like a
Yeah, they're a
bully
bad
or they're
person.
just a
Yeah.
shithole, I'm just like, well, fuck. My bad.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean
I'm sure like I
that's
contributed
why
to
you have to
that.
have a few of them.
To
I think there
maximize.
is like I think sometimes like a parent can make a note. I think a parent can be the best parent and the kid
Yeah.
something's off or they're like it cannot be your fault. That's why you gotta have a few of them, dude. One might be go crazy. One might be locked up in jail. It's okay. But I have a
But
few of
it's
them.
okay. We got Bobby here too that has a better
And
chance of
then and then
doing
it's
the
the other way
legacy.
too. Like statistically, if one of them is gonna become a moonshot and become like a rich person, have a bunch of them. One might make it.
Oh, true.
You only need one.
Yeah, our legacy secured. Yeah, making kids is so cheap. It's just
But yeah, I think you bring up some good points, dude. And I don't know if there's an answer. I think it's a mix of both, and I think there is some selfishness, sure, but I do think too. It's like the way I've thought about it is you're trying to just kind of help and I don't know,
yeah, if someone
help
like
and
if a kid is born,
help
then
the
I'm like,
planet.
okay, we better raise the kid well. Make sure that they're well loved and they're
Yeah, and
taught and
financially they can eat.
educated. Yeah,
Yeah,
just stuff like that. But
100%.
the idea of just having kids, even though you're not ready for them, and again, like ready is a made up definition, right? Like who's to decide what ready means,
Absolutely.
right? But if there's doubt there that you can raise the kid well, then I do find that pretty like shameful. I do, even though like your culture maybe demands for it and incentivizes it, but yeah, I just that just makes me
No, I
sad.
think it. I agree. I agree. One thing I want to touch on too is I'm actually really curious how many people like make that active choice of like I know I'm not ready. I'm not gonna have a kid now, but I want to have a kid ASAP, even though I'm not ready. And maybe instead of saying I'm not ready, but like my family isn't ready. Because I think too in some cultures you have grandparents take care of the kids more, right? Because the parents are working, or you're living with grandparents because for financial reasons. And I think personally that's fine. Like the kid is still well loved, and grandparents' love is also great. I don't think it's just on you as a parent to be that person, but I just don't think there's that many cases where somebody's all alone with no financial support or anything. And they're like, I'm not having a kid now, but I want to have a kid, so I'm going to do it. I feel like it's most of the time it's just like an accident or something like that, and they just don't have the option to not go down that lifestyle of being like a young parent and so on who can't support their child. I just don't know, and I don't know if there are metrics about this, but
I'm not sure that there are
yeah,
metrics about that. I think the closest data you could look at are maybe even asking kids, like doing some research there about if I don't know, like how their life is going or something, or like
yeah.
or like childless kids, or sorry, like parentless kids, for example. Maybe that's a thing.
Well, one thing I know they'd use actually is the free and reduced lunch in schools. That metric is used a lot about kids going through a hard time and like financially being unsupported and stuff. But I don't know if you went through this, but like I was on the free and reduced lunch throughout middle school and high school, and like I was chilling. Like I never felt like I didn't have food at home, and I never felt like I was down financially, and so I don't
Yeah,
know if it's the best metric, but
I'm sure that
I know that's used though. I know that's used.
yeah, and but
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are like kids probably like during elementary school where a lot of them like it's at that age where they realize
Mm,
their financial standings with their classmates, with
their peers and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
to their peers, like, oh, maybe this person always has the new clothing,
Oh
whereas
yeah.
myself, I repeat the same shirt every 2 days or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Like so like that point, and I'm sure that psychologically has a big effect on the child's perceived self-worth, or
Of
the
course.
fairness of life kind of thing. um
I, I'm like curious. What do you think that ever? I never actually. I feel like really thought about that until I was more like in like late high school and college even. And to me, it was in high school that some people would have cars. When a kid who was 16 got a car, that to me was like that was probably the biggest indicator of like, oh wow, there are like different worlds of wealth and so on. That was eye opening for me. That was really the first case though, because you mentioned elementary school, and I'm sure there were subtle things, but I never really noticed it until like that was it for me. Somebody like getting a car from their parents, and you're just like, what the fuck?
the
At
thing I
16?
noticed
Yeah.
was, I think, in middle school, when it was a
Mm.
thing that during summer vacations that kids did stuff other than going to like a summer program, like for like
Then the
that like
local city one. You
accelerated
remember doing that
courses,
shit?
yeah, or like
Or they would travel to Europe.
yeah, or they go with their parents on a family vacation to
That
to
family
Europe or
vacations,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
I never did that.
yeah,
I was like, oh
yeah.
yeah, well, I don't think my
Same.
family would ever do that kind of thing. So I think at that
Yeah.
point I realized, yeah, I don't think my family
Different wealths.
is like rich or any by any means
Did
kind
you
of
feel
thing.
any shame because of that though?
Or I mean, I had to. I don't really have like clear memories, but I was like, oh yeah, I can't afford everything that I want. I can't afford every game that I want, or
Hmm.
just yeah. But anyways, I think like it's very complex. Like kids are a big decision. I think I'm sure like everyone is entitled to have kids, but it does make I'm just like I just hope everyone, like if they
Dude,
decide to have kids, like you better fucking
I
raise the kid
think
well.
we gotta have, dude. I think we gotta have tests. I feel like you have a test to be able to have a kid. You need a test to be able to drive a car, dog. You have a test to be able to have a kid too. I feel like that should happen. I think it'd be really funny, and I think it would be really important. I don't know how you implement that, but I do think that'd be a better system. Is like a general test of like, hey, like what's good food for a child, and you have a few options. It's multiple choice. It's really easy, like a driving test. But I think there should be some accountability in that
Okay,
way.
you can regulate people, like people's cars on the road, but you can't regulate people in the bedroom.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
that's the hard part. That's why we gotta sterilize at birth.
this is literally the Zeke euthanized plan from Attack on Titan.
Oh, but I think it's just an interesting, yeah, it's an interesting thing to talk about because it's
It's just
reality
something that
and
makes me think,
yeah,
and I'm sure that maybe
yeah.
I'll never be ready for kids, right? Because there will always be things that I learn and that and mistakes based
I
on.
think that's the healthy outlook, dude. Is in reality you're never gonna be ready, and that's okay. I think that's a very healthy and mature look on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
we're hitting 35. Yeah, we
yeah.
can wrap it up. What's your final thoughts on it, Alan? Because it's a great topic.
No, I just like reading people's comments on these thoughts, and like people that cite these reasons. I'm just curious about why like people would
Mm.
go through with these decisions.
have you ever asked like when you say read comments, the first thing I think of is Reddit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is already so biased. Because
Yeah.
like the amount of people like your parents aren't posting on Reddit, my parents aren't posting on Reddit, like most of the world's not posting on Reddit. So I think it's really fair to just go talk to people too. Like I've asked my parents about this, and I was a fucking mistake. My sister was too. They never planned to have us, but they're already in their 30s. Like or I think my mom was in her 20s. But like they were, it's like, you know what, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, but where
And
do
they
you
were
go to
down.
aggregate these kinds of questions? You just go up to like random people and be like,
Yeah, yeah, you can. But no, I guess what my whole thing is, I think it's fun to ask your parents that. Have you ever
yeah,
asked them before?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's fun, and you get some good perspectives too.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'm just learning. I'm just wanting to learn.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. All right, we can wrap it up. Yeah, we're going a little bit over 35.
Yeah,
Let's call it a wrap,
yeah,
dude.
thank you for tuning in to the 23andMe episode of the Water and Time.
That was a good one about kids, dude. That's a great
Oh
great
my
connection.
God.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's cool. All right, see you guys. See you next week. I'll be in Seattle. It'll be hype. Bye.
See y'all.